We're here at Heathrow in the testing centre that we've set up to really help get the travel industry back on its feet and recovering. We have got a team of professionals here in the UK and medical experts around the world.
Hello and welcome to Kappa Live for November 2021. Firstly, we're delighted to be bringing you this month's Kappa Live with the ongoing support of our event partners, Travelport, our global cornerstone partner, our global platinum partners, IBM, and the Philippine Department of Tourism. Platinum partners, Skyscanner, Cellpoint Digital, Agencia, IBS Software, our corporate travel partner, Serco, our diamond partner, Collinson Group, biotech partner, PerkinElmer, silver partner, Aruba Airport, knowledge partner, McKinsey & Company, as well as this month's event partner, HRS. A really big thank you to each and every one of our sponsors. Our topic for this month is the resumption of travel and whether the pent-up demand we're seeing will last longer than an initial surge. Many major travel source and destination markets are opening up as part of an almost global shift to living alongside the virus. But along with the reopening, and for places that never closed, comes big questions such as the continuing levels of traveller hesitancy, the lack of consistency and interoperability of systems and processes, and as the COP26 climate talks continue in Glasgow, the environmental sustainability of air travel into the future. We also look at the regulatory environment, the competitive environment, and the traveller experience as more and more people start travelling again. We are pleased to announce that Kappa Live's audience has now reached over 8,500 industry professionals from more than 130 countries. Of these, we're delighted to welcome just under 2,000 airline delegates from 235 airlines. Next month, Kappa Live will return, but at a slightly different time to what you might be used to. Recently, we announced the return of our in-person events with the Kappa Australia Pacific Aviation Summit set to take place on the 7th and 8th of December. If you haven't registered yet for this summit, please click on the link above if you're able to come to Sydney and enjoy that event. For those international guests who would like to tune in, you can also purchase a virtual ticket at the same link. So this means that the next edition of Kappa Live is now scheduled for the 15th of December and will include many industry experts and airline CEOs looking ahead to what 2022 may bring. Finally, don't forget that the Kappa Invest Sustainability Report has been published. The report is the first industry single source of truth on emissions, benchmarking airlines and their performance. The 130-page report includes 50 airlines benchmarked using their reported emissions for 2020 and 2019, an analysis on key airline metrics and comparisons, and insights into global corporations' decarbonisation strategies and the implications that has for corporate travel. And finally, perspectives on investor demands for the airline industry and how these will continue to lead to increased pressures on airline boards and senior managements. Again, click on the tab above if you'd like to learn more about that landmark report. Earlier today, I caught up with Collinson Group President Asia Pacific Todd Hancock to discuss the recent Kappa and Collinson Group Pulse survey, which asked you, the participants, in our virtual monthly event series, a number of crucial industry questions. This is the second in a series of surveys and white papers we have collaboratively undertaken with Collinson Group, and we're delighted to welcome Todd to Kappa Live. In this edition, we received more than 400 responses from 68 countries, including inputs from several C-suite and executive-level aviation and travel experts from leading industry brands. This survey and subsequent white paper analyses their opinions on the changing travel and aviation landscape, including airline activity and recovery, ancillary revenues, border controls, traveller passports, quarantine and traveller wellbeing. Keep an eye out for the findings, which have since been pulled into another report available via the Collinson website. Take a look at our discussion. Well, firstly, it's my great pleasure to introduce Todd Hancock, President Asia Pacific for Collinson, a global end-to-end travel experiences, airport services and travel medical company. Todd will help me explore the second edition of our joint Kappa and Collinson Asia Pacific Travel Recovery Report, which captures survey responses from you, the participants of our monthly virtual event series, Kappa Live. To produce this second edition, we reviewed and analysed more than 400 responses from those of you located across 68 countries, including inputs from several C-suite and executive-level aviation and travel experts from leading industry brands. The subsequent report, to be published tomorrow, reveals this group's opinions on the changing travel and aviation landscape, including airline activity and recovery, ancillary revenues, border control, traveller passports, quarantine and traveller wellbeing. The report can be downloaded from the Collinson website from tomorrow, and we're excited to share a snapshot of the key insights during this dedicated session today. Welcome back to Kappa Live, Todd. This round of survey results definitely provided a new perspective on recovery, and could you kindly share some of the key findings from the report?
Yes, thanks, Derek. It's great to be back with Kappa, and it's fantastic to continue the partnership through this survey. So yes, the second edition of the 2021 Asia Pacific Travel Recovery Report revealed increasing levels of confidence in the expected recovery of global travel. A large percentage of respondents, 37% in fact, are now expecting a full recovery to 2019 levels in 2023. Now that's in comparison to only 31% in the April 21 survey. A further 26% expect recovery to come earlier in 2022, which is steady on the April survey results, while just over a quarter expect a full recovery in 2024, and less than 10% expect the recovery won't be complete until 2025. Now, these are the global results. If we're to separate responses from those located in Asia Pacific alone, senior aviation and travel experts remain more cautious than their counterparts from the rest of the world, both on the scale and the timing of when pre-pandemic levels of travel will be seen. So, however, when we look at the outlook for global health as we enter 2022, both global and APAC respondents are more aligned. For instance, when we spoke to everyone listening in today, back in April of this year, there was optimism that herd immunity would be reached in the US, UK, and a few other developed countries by the end of 2021 or as we entered 2022. But as the year has continued, levels have slipped from 33% of respondents expecting herd immunity to be reached in the US, UK, and a few selected nations to 24%. Now that's quite a significant drop in herd immunity confidence compared to some of our other survey question respondents, but reflects the ongoing uncertainty of the pandemic's influence over our lives and the challenges around vaccine access in some locations.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Todd. Do you think these views are warranted? I mean, look, aside from those regional breakouts, we know some segments of the market are expected to recover more quickly than others. For example, short haul will rebound more rapidly than long haul. Leisure VFR should, come back or outperform business and corporate travel. How do our travel experts feel about the individual segments?
Well, for 2022, the majority of survey respondents still expect a solid recovery in relation to leisure and VFR travel. However, seeing as we're now closer to the end of 2021, confidence levels have slipped since that last report. In April 2021, 71% of survey respondents expected a solid recovery of short-haul travel or leisure travel to 2019 levels. Upon resurveying this group in September of 2021, 60% now expect a solid short-haul travel recovery to pre-pandemic levels. So that's a drop of 11%. Unfortunately, in Asia Pacific, the mood is even more somber than the rest of the world, with that figure dropping to just 53%. That's the lowest for any region in the world. And this is a 4% decrease on the April 2021 survey, when 57% of APAC respondents projected a recovery to 2019 levels. So unfortunately, we're still looking at being first in, last out situation for the Asia Pacific region.
Yeah, indeed. Can we assume then that short-haul business travel demand is going to remain weak too, Todd?
Absolutely. In fact, respondents were more circumspect with the pace of recovery of short-haul business travel demand versus long or short-haul leisure. The majority of expecting slow recovery at 60% of or less versus the 2019 levels in all markets of the world. Over the past few months, we've started to see the return of short-haul business and corporate travel in some countries, but that hasn't overly influenced the expected levels of recovery, with little movement between the April 2021 and September surveys. In Asia Pacific, the mood is again more somber than the world average, with just 24% seeing this segment recovering to more than 61% of the 2019 level next year. Only 7% seeing demand reaching 80% of 2019 levels.
At long haul, how does that compare?
Well, for long-haul leisure travel, the majority of respondents also expect a slow recovery at less than 60% of 2019 levels in all markets for 2022, which is similar to our findings from April of this year, but a slightly more pessimistic view. Once again, this pessimism is mostly seen from those based in the Asia Pacific region, as well as in Africa, where around 1 in 5 experts still feel that the recovery will reach less than 20% of 2019 levels over the course of the coming calendar year. And as for long-haul business travel, recovery to 2019 levels is expected to take longer than any of the other travel segments. And survey respondents are becoming less confident in the timescale of the recovery of this segment, as travel restrictions have remained for much longer than previously had been anticipated. In Asia Pacific, 30% of survey respondents feel that recovery will not even reach 20% of 2019 levels in 2022. Now, having said this, as vaccine programs continue to be rolled out and travel begins to pick up in different areas of the world, businesses really must look at how they evolve their existing meeting and travel protocols, both to ensure that their people feel protected and comfortable in time for the full return of corporate travel, but also to meet the corporate duty of care requirements outlined in the newly published Travel Risk Management Standard, ISO 31030.
Yeah, indeed they do. Todd, let's switch gears. Let's talk international borders and reopening of those borders. Things like border controls, testing protocols. These all featured heavily in the survey. Share, please, what some of those findings.
Sure. So as for border controls, 1/3 of global respondents still expect aviation market access arrangements by governments to evolve at different rates, depending on the market through 2021 and into 2022. This is a much reduced level from the 2021 survey at 56%, with an increasing number now expecting them to stay the same in 2021, but to start to ease in 2022 at 29%, or substantially ease in 2022 at 14%. And while 54% of respondents, which is an increase of 3% since April, expect robust COVID-19 testing protocols will remain key to reopening borders until the end of 2022, a further 26% expecting this until the end of 2023. Now, an interesting point to highlight here, Derek, is around fraudulent COVID-19 tests and vaccination passports. It's clear that people are especially concerned. Specifically, 74% of those responded. They're either very or mildly concerned by reports of fraudulent COVID-19 test results and vaccination passport surfacing. Levels of those very concerned are up from 38% in April to 41% in September, and from 28% to 34% relative to mildly concerned. We firmly believe that working with leading COVID-19 testing providers to help your customers access trusted suppliers seamlessly via your booking channels is important to further encouraging the safe return to travel.
Yeah, look, obviously linked to that point is just this recovery really relies and can only really be achieved if travellers are feeling safe on the road again. How are respondents feeling regarding getting back to back in the sky, get travelling again safely?
Yeah, it's absolutely true, Derek. We're seeing that respondents agree, although interestingly, not as much as they did in April. According to the results, 42% believe it is extremely safe to travel if everyone adheres to preventative solutions, such as mask wearing, social distancing, etc. And a further 10% said it was extremely safe, regardless of preventative solutions. Though these figures sound encouraging, perhaps surprisingly, this is a reduction on the 59% and 13% recorded in April. Instead, an increasing number of respondents have shifted to believing that travel is quite safe, up from 22% in April to 35% in September, while more now believe it to be not safe, which is an increase from 4% in April to 10% in September. Now, these responses are fascinating, actually, given the significant rollout of vaccines that we've seen that have occurred since the April survey. And we're seeing more return to travel in certain areas and segments. So in turn, linked to travel experts being more cautious around safety levels when traveling, 79% of respondents recognize that travel will feel more stressful than before the pandemic, which is up from 70% in April. These findings directly align with Collinson's The Return Journey research, which found that whilst generally the desire to travel is high amongst frequent travelers, there is an underlying mental health issue that traveling may cause, manifesting itself in the stress associated with new travel. And as such, a large proportion, 87% of global travelers specifically said they wanted access to socially distanced spaces, which to de-stress and relax away from the crowds, with 89% of travelers in Singapore and 90% of travelers in China citing socially distanced spaces such as airport lounges to segregate, to relax as being a key factor in their airport experience. And in turn, we're seeing those in the travel ecosystem responding to traveler needs with new and improved experiences to help ensure the safe return of global travel as we try to live with the pandemic.
Well, there you have it. Todd, thank you so much for unpacking that for us. Really fascinating insights. And thanks to our viewers and audience for contributing. We look forward to continuing that dialogue with them and with Collinson. It's been such a great partnership to really look under the hood. What are the executives really thinking about travel? And that was fascinating. Don't forget, you can download that report from the Collinson website from tomorrow. But again, thank you, Todd. Thank you, Collinson, for your great participation and great insights today.
Great. Well, thanks again for your partnership as well, Derek. It's great to spend time with you again today.
Thanks, Todd.